Still fairly significant restrictions that we're seeing at a 70% mark. The Premier says we'll need restrictions at 80%. There's probably a lot of people now wondering, are we ever going to see life as we saw it pre-COVID, and what has to happen for us to get back to the freedoms that we had prior to the pandemic?
I think everyone around the world watches the situation overseas, and I think we've been very honest that we have to learn to live with COVID. We are going to be vaccinated again. We're going to be potentially challenged by different variants. This will be a journey. We know that some flu seasons are severe, some flu seasons are mild, but the real hope is that we have safe and effective vaccines. We will have to learn how to live with COVID, and after years of cycling through this, we'll get to a level of comfort, a bit like we have with flu. But I can't stress enough that we will have to respond, and this is a cautious plan. As you highlight, we need to be cautious as we learn to live with this. And we also need to take in the fact that we're watching overseas, but we also are in a different position. And I would just want to urge everyone, vaccines work, vaccines are effective, and the higher the level of vaccination, and if we can deliver that to the most vulnerable of our communities in a very uniform way, we will be in a very strong position to go back to a life similar to what we had before. But will I always want people to be wearing masks if they're sick? Will I want them to be staying at home and not going to work? So there are many things from our experience with COVID that I think we've learnt about and will want to embrace even going forward.
Not a couple of days ago, you raised the issue of 2 weeks.
I'm really confident that I do not think we are going to get vaccine hesitancy until a high level. I think people understand how significant COVID is and the fact that the vaccines are safe and effective and will embrace them. I'm very pleased that we've got access now to vaccination for our 12 to 15-year-olds, which will be coming on board around the middle of September, and access points through general practice. And we've also enabled our pharmacists to vaccinate 12-year-old down to 12-year-olds with the Moderna vaccine when that comes through. So the community will have the ability to get those 12 to 15-year-olds vaccinated, and so that all of that gives me a degree of confidence. But the community has to also do these next hard yards. This next hard yards of the 4 weeks is going to be tough. I know you've been in lockdown, and you're starting to see the sunshine and those rays of hope. Please do not take risks while we're in this period. We do not need any super spreading events. We do not need any seeding in the regions. We just do not need anything else as we work to drive the case numbers down and leverage our response off the back of the vaccine uptake that we've seen. We will be looking at what contact tracing looks like in the new world order. Yes, it will be pubs and clubs and other things if we have a positive case there. Our response may be different if we know that people are fully vaccinated. So we're working through a number of those issues, but we will have to reflect and learn. This is not going to be a set and forget. The learnings we've acquired now will be play into the way we write policies and practice in relation to close contacts and casual contacts, the period of time we require people to isolate for the testing strategies. So to be honest with the community, we're going to have to work on a number of those things and redesign what our test, trace and isolate policies are into the future.